This is the Tallahassee Business Podcast, bringing you engaging conversations with influential members of the community that you need to know. This episode is brought to you by The Health Network. The Health Network is an innovative advertising platform with more than 30 digital monitors and almost a dozen different medical waiting rooms throughout Tallahassee. With a diverse mix of medical practices, The Health Network provides advertisers unmatched visibility to a highly engaged audience while directly connecting with target consumers through static and video ads. To learn how your business can effectively reach over 60,000 patients and guests per month, visit thnadvertising.com.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Sue Dick with the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce. So excited today to be with Tracey Shrine with Full Press. I know many of you have seen the products of Tracey and Danny, her partner. We're going to learn a little bit more about the partnership, but I know you've seen a lot of their apparel products and just great business items out in the marketplace. So Tracey, thanks for being here. We're going to learn a little bit more about the company and some of the things that you all are doing as we wrap up this calendar year and getting ready for next year. So hello.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Sue. Yeah, this is Tracey with Full Press Apparel. We're a Tallahassee-based company, started in 1997, kind of grown in our community over the years, and started out as a small, Greek-affiliated, campus-oriented T-shirt company, and have grown exponentially over the past almost 25 years now, into a much larger company that services really the whole U.S. and, other parts outside the U.S. as well. So
what do you think? Some people may think they know the company. What would surprise them about Full Press?
Full Press, we've grown from an 8,000 square foot facility to a 16,000 square foot facility over the years. We employ currently roughly about 55 people. That's plus or minus over the months, especially given COVID. So I think that people were a little known secret in a pocket of an industrial neighborhood in Tallahassee that if you didn't know we were there, you wouldn't know we were there.
Well, you all have certainly made an enormous impact. I think a lot of people also know you for a lot of your community giving that you all do. You give back a lot to the community. Maybe touch on that as well, because it is important. And I think as a chamber, we're so proud of our businesses and our members that do that. And it's sometimes the untold story, but it really is what makes our community what it is.
Well, that's part of being a good steward in your community is giving back to the causes and the philanthropies that touch your heart and that are important to your employees and their families also. So it's not always just about making the money in your community, but definitely giving back in ways that are meaningful, both to your clients and to your local nonprofits. So we do a lot of that throughout the year.
Well, thank you for doing that. And while you're doing that, you're running a tremendous company, not only here in our community, but really nationally. And I think a lot of our local businesses are also understanding, and a hot topic right now is supply chain and the demands and preparing for it. You run a successful business with Danny. Maybe talk a little bit about what you all are planning for and what you're seeing in the marketplace with regards to supply chain based on COVID and other factors.
Sure. So probably back in April of 2021, just a few short months ago, we started seeing pinches in the supply of apparel products, promotional products worldwide. So we source products from all over the world, especially as it relates to promotional products. And when COVID happened, we started seeing all of our manufacturing sites around the world shutting down due to COVID, both labor constraints as well as, COVID sickness constraints. That we have a factory in China that every time they would have a COVID case, they would shut down for 2 weeks. And so that created a huge bottleneck in the ability for them to get product out. The same with Gildan. I'm sure that everyone in the world has heard of Gildan as a t-shirt manufacturer. Well, in mid-April last year, 2020, they shut down for almost 3 months all of their manufacturing sites around the world. And they didn't open back up until I believe it was late June 2020. And so that created a huge backlog of product that wasn't even being manufactured, much less being sent to distribution points around the world. And so when that happened, it created a huge kink in the supply chain just for that one particular product. So we've seen that happen, and a lot of our suppliers have said, going to be Christmas before you know it. It's going to be the holidays. Don't treat it like every other year where you can wait until the last minute to get product out to your clients. You really need to start thinking about it, September or the beginning of October. So that's where we are now, and really trying to communicate to our customer base and our clients via email, social media, word of mouth, direct conversations with, hey, if you're thinking about doing this again this year, we need to be thinking about it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and really just empowering them to help make quick decisions to really start the process much quicker than they would normally.
Well, and I think that's important. I think you all have a tremendous client base, and you are always working hard to build the client base. I mean, what would you tell those individuals who might not even have considered utilizing a full press for their promotion or their marketing or their messaging, especially what you just said as far as timing? What other suggestions would you give? Because everyone's always trying to find a way to market themselves, and you all have done a tremendous job in your creativity to do that. So how do you maybe onboard someone who's considering it and now knowing that there's some timing issues, but what are some other opportunities that are there with what you all bring as a company?
So we're a full service branding company. We have 5 full-time graphic designers that not only create branding based on current logos and current branding that a client may have, but also helping to develop new branding logo types for clients. So really from start to finish, from design creation to it doesn't really matter what product it's going to go on, because it can be used for branding on websites, marketing on buses. All of our designers are super talented in lots of different areas, and they all have kind of their niche design capabilities. So knowing that we can create your marketing strategy and be part of that marketing strategy from soup to nuts is really kind of beneficial. And a lot of our competitors don't have that advantage, and I don't think that's something that a lot of people know.
Well, and I think a lot of, for a lot of individuals, and I think we hope as a Chamber of Commerce what we can do is not only bring industry information, but also business-to-business information. And as a CEO and as someone who's running a company, there are other challenges, whether it's labor, whether it's cost. What are some of the things that you might be able to pass along to some of our listeners who are either starting up their business or running their business that is something that you and Danny face on your weekly meetings or with your team that might be solutions to challenges or problems that a local business might be facing?
Well, a couple things. Listen to your employees. That's one of the very first things is, I was having an employee review yesterday with one of our artists, and I said, what's meaningful for you as added value benefits for working at Full Press? We always go over, strengths and weaknesses and your, what you're doing in your job. How has your manager reviewed you? What has your progress been? That kind of thing. But it's also, what can Danny and I be doing to be better bosses to you? What can we be doing to be a better company? Are there other things that would bring you more meaning in life from a work life to help, enrich your life as a whole? And I have that conversation all the time, because what I think is important and what's good for me is not always equally good for people who are at different points in their life, different ages, different circumstances. And so I would encourage all employers to, your employees are the key to your success, really, at the end of the day. You can have the best product, but if you can't deliver it and your employees aren't happy, then you're really not going to be successful long term.
Well, and I think that's true with a lot of our businesses, and I think now especially we're all doing the same thing. I know at the Chamber we're trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to not only engage our team here, but also share that information with our members and knowing how important it is.
Well, and we're all competing for talent too, for employees that want to stay in the Tallahassee area. We're all trying to retain the talent. And I'd much rather someone come to me and say, hey, listen, I really need XYZ. I want to continue working here, but this is where I am in life right now. How can we get there? And having that open door policy and transparent communication, I think, is really key to retaining that talent.
I would agree. I think a lot of individuals, we're in that mindset of thinking quarterly. Let's get through 2021 and ramp up for 2022. For Full Press, what are some of the things that you're working towards as you prepare for next year coming up?
Well, all of our suppliers are telling us that this supply chain shortage, this employee shortage, this labor logistics problems, everything is really not going to even out until at least mid-22 in our specific industry. And I do realize that every industry is very different. And, I had a peer group meeting yesterday, and a peer group that I've been a part of for, I want to say 10 years. And we are all in different sectors. And this was a question that we all talked about is, what is this looking like for your industry, for your market sector over the next year? Do you see it? One of the big things is we've had to increase costs. All of our peers have had to increase costs, just as a byproduct of everything increasing in cost. But one of the resounding elements to those conversations yesterday was the consumer is understanding. We are not getting a lot of pushback from our clients, which is really helping to make the process just that much more smooth and less painful than we were expecting. So that's been, kind of a silver lining in everything that's going on, still COVID pandemic related.
Well, I think for a lot of our members, they're saying the same thing. And I think I love the peer group. As a chamber, we hope that we connect individuals as well. And because we understand that people learn best from their peers. Yeah. And that's where relationships are built. And we see that in the Tallahassee market and really in the region with regards to our business owners, the relationships that are coming together and how you can benefit and really just promote one another. Yeah. So as we're wrapping up here, I think you all are wonderful partners again with the Chamber of Commerce. As we prepare for the end of the calendar year, I want to make sure our listeners can find you via website. But also, I know we were talking about a web store as we get into the holiday season. Let's make sure maybe let everybody know the best way to find you and this little web store that you have that I think is just a tremendous opportunity moving into the holidays.
Of course. So one of the unique things that Full Press does that I think that puts us kind of above some of our peers in our industry is we do a lot of what are called web stores for employers, and we do it a lot for holiday gifts for employee groups. So if you have employees that you want to outfit and give a holiday gift to, the web store is a great way to kind of capture all of those orders without having to do all the legwork. And we do it for lots of local companies where they're giving their employees something for the end of the year as an appreciation, even client gifts at the end of the year. And the web store is a unique way that you can, whoever's in charge doesn't have to do all the compiling and order entry and kind of getting all those details together. We take care of that for you. And we can be found online via Instagram, Facebook, and our website, fullpressapparel.com.
Well, and also next week, Professional Women's Series luncheon will take place at the University Center Club starting at 11:30. The topic, and many of our listeners, it's not too late to register. The topic will be From Startup to Succession, a Journey Through Business Life Cycle, and we're excited. Kelly O'Keefe with Stearns Weaver Miller will be the moderator with other great participants, other wonderful CEO females, Anna Melendez and Christina Paredes and Kanita Peterson. And I know you're going to have your team there as well, Tracy. Jenna will be there working a tabletop, so if anybody wants to put their hands on some of your product, they can do that. And we want to thank you for Mickey's involvement. He's going to be there, but he's also an active member in our Leads Group program. So you all are really engaged with the Chamber of Commerce, and we thank you for that. Anything you want to say as we wrap up?
No, we're just excited to be, ambassadors for what the Chamber is doing. We're happy to participate and look forward to it next week. I think Mickey and Jenna at the Professional Women's Forum will have lots of unique gift ideas available to kind of test out and look at for all of the holiday gift ideas for employers and for their clients as well.
Well, and again, for all of our listeners, please come to our Chamber website, talchamber.com, if you want to find out more about our events or listen to this podcast again, or send it to some of your clients or your business partners. But Tracy, thanks a million for coming out. Please say hi to Danny and to your two boys, and we really appreciate everything you do for our community.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today, Sue.